It's time for this week's Here's How. And this week, here's how to relieve the tension in the hospital waiting room. Bit of close-up magic. Bring the energy of a Thursday night in a Chinese all-you-can-eat to the hospital. Metal rings, playing cards, and your floppy wand. Turn those anxious people into willing participants of your one-man show. What about an MC? Not a rapper, nothing like that, just a host, but a fella who comes in it like he's at the Walters and then comes around the room, slapping the backs of chairs, shouting, "Scream if you want to go faster!" But he could also, break up the act by doing a bit of crowd work on the people there. What are you here for? Ear infection. Pardon? Like stuff like that, like dumb jokes. Maybe someone would say, that they're in for cancer, and then the MC could go, "Ooh, I don't think we'll be compatible. I'm an Aries," proper hack stuff, just to try and lift the spirits of the people in there. Some slot machines, all with the sound turned right up on them. Nice little jingles to keep people entertained. Plus, the repetition will really help people self-regulate and know how many cycles of the dinging noises they've been privy to in there. Everyone can share a glance with each other as well, as if to go, "Bloody hell," when the machine starts up again. Why stop at bandits though? Chuck one of those punching bags in there so everyone's son-in-law can try and show off to the room. Maybe, shit up some of the nans in there. Maybe even arouse some of the nanas. I bet it's been a long time since she saw a young lad punch a plastic bag for money for her. She'll be, slipping straight off that plastic chair, mate. Then she'll need to be back in again, won't she? Get that hip sorted out that she's just hurt as she fell off the chair. Maybe it'll even give her an excuse to go and get her hip sorted out. Town crier in there to announce the order of appointments. Hey, and and all that. And then he says everybody's names in order of when they'll be seen as soon as you enter the room. He announces your departure of the waiting room, once you've entered the actual doctor's room. But then every time someone new comes in, he restarts the list of who's going to be going first, like Judy, David, like that, while he's ringing his bell. I've got nothing, no bell noise, but ding-a-ling-a-ling-a-ling, ding-a-ling-a-ling, constantly. Do you know what I mean? Indoor fireworks might be a good idea. Catherine wheels visible through safety glass, keep it safe. Those little plastic fish that curl up in your hand as well. Now, health and safety of an hospital might not allow the fireworks, so maybe a laser show, or, better yet, a night sky show, constantly repeating as well, hosted by a real scientist, so that all our friends with STEM degrees can get some work and answer the questions of the visitors. Compulsory musical chairs. Little petting zoo might be nice. Pygmy goats, a dozen chickens, and a little horse knocking around for the little ones to feed and stroke all day. Everyone feels a lot calmer when they're surrounded by animals. What about a flash mob? But one that's a bit like one of them ones that people waste money on at the weddings, but instead of dropping plates and singing, these are just people that are dotted around the room, sitting in the seats, occasionally nipping into the doctor's room so they look like real patients, but under different names each time, just in case anyone's there for a second appointment that week. Then, every now and then, a full-on Jeremy Kyle-style argument and fight breaks out amongst them all. A little bit of drama for the sick and the weary, something for them to focus on that isn't their own deteriorating health. Simple one, but give everyone a little ciggy as they sit down, or maybe even a cigar so they're not inhaling, and a little glass of whiskey or brandy to enjoy. The room would smell better. It doesn't just smell of sick people, now it smells of cigars and booze. And when they leave the hospital, they're going to fucking stink of smoke. So the general public will know to give them a bit of leeway on public transport and that, because they're obviously ill enough to have required an hospital appointment, so people should be nicer to them. Maybe you want to get a band in. Maybe you want to have them sing something to the patients or soon-to-be patients to help them all know what their options are whilst they wait in there. The doctor will see you soon. Just take a seat and wait here. Can I tempt you to a brew? Biscuits or a savoury roll? Hey Mrs. Jones, look, here's my parrot. Will your son light this firework? Please watch your shoes, they're that sauce piss. Face paint for the kids like a fun fair. Interpretive dance done by a mate to explain why your cancer does. A dominatrix strapped in leather, yeah, and she puts on a cracking show. Two fat ladies, two ducks swimming. We'll have a quick game of bingo. Impersonators on at 4-ish. You'll wanna skip the next bus home. Balloon inflating topless waiters. Fire eaters, two lads scrapping. A game of poker over there. The jukebox in here don't cost out. Ghost tours are now starting at 9. Medium's not on full time. Whose nana's t-shirt can get wetter? Let David pierce your left earlobe. Do you fancy a go with this scale electrics? Will you come play musical chairs? What if I said I'll sing this again? Whenever someone walks through there. Obviously a bit of the cause there, and that's the end of this week's Here's How.